Good day all, welcome back to South Africa. So for this video, we're going to be discussing the terms self-determination, the three different kinds of self-determination we find, and in practice, what does this mean for us as white South Africans? So as soon as you talk about these things, people normally already go, it's impossible. The ANC government will never ever allow it. So please bear with me. Maybe we can learn something here together, and maybe there is actually a way for people that are interested in self-determination. So one of the biggest reasons why one should want to self-determinate is because of current policy. So we all know that there are 140 plus race laws against white South Africans. We also know that expropriation without compensation is specifically targeted at white minorities, and we do also know that parliament members do sing songs about killing white people and white farmers. So it is important for us to understand within the context of the Constitution what we are allowed to do and what we are not allowed to do. And then at the end, I've got some very good news for you. Well, maybe it's bad news, because within our lifetime, the white minority of South Africa is guaranteed self-determination. So stick around and explore this with me. So let's start with Act 235, self-determination. And it says here, the right of South African people as a whole to self-determination as manifested in this constitution does not preclude within the framework of this right recognition of the nation of the right of self-determination of any community sharing a common cultural and language heritage within a territorial entity in the Republic or in any other way determined by national legislation. So this specific act within the Constitution, the last part, which is quite important, determined by national legislation. And this is where a lot of people get stuck, because they reckon that we need to have permission from the current government in order to do this. And this actually refers to the fact that more legislation needs to be put in place in order for one to self-determinate. But let's move on, because we need to understand the three-part section of determination, which is internal self-determination, external self-determination, and then territorial self-determination. And if you understand this a little bit better, you'll understand that there are actually proof for all of this. So stick with us. So the term internal self-determination refers to the right of a people within a state to govern themselves without external interference, focusing on their economic, social and cultural development. It's about a people's right to determine their own political status and pursue their chosen development path, often within the existing state structure. So internal self-determination, I firmly believe that we as South Africans have partially started doing internal self-determination. And what I mean with this is that if you can afford it, you can buy private healthcare. So if you have a medical aid, you can actually use your medical aid and go to hospital outside of the government structure. So I call this AKA state proving. We can have a look at private security. Exactly the same. If you can afford, you can buy protection from private security. If you can afford, You can buy private schooling for your children. And quite ironic is that even the government ministers and the government parliament members actually pays for their children to go outside of the government schooling system because our schooling system is so bad. So these are all AKA state-proving mechanisms that South Africans are already practicing. Another example is electricity. You all remember when we had between 6 and 10 hours of load shedding or blackouts, and some of us that had the finances state-proofed ourselves. We bought generators, we bought solar, and we made a plan to fill the gap where the government is not able to provide the specific service. So let's just read this again. Internal self-determination refers to the right of people within a state to govern themselves without external interferences, focusing on their social and cultural development. It's about a people's right to determine their own political status and pursue their chosen development path, often within the existing state structure. So a good example will be Urania as well, because they are doing what we call internal self-determination. So let's look at the next term, and that is external self-determination. It refers to a people's right to control their own political status and their place in the international community, including potential forming of their own independent state. It's distinct from internal self-determination, which focuses on a state governance without external interference. So when you're talking about self-determination, it always begins with internal, and then it actually goes up a step where it becomes external by you becoming your own state or a country within a country. A very good example is Lesotho in South Africa and Swaziland. They actually became independent from South Africa, and they kept their culture. In Swaziland, they are the Swazis, and they've got their own government, and they've got their own culture, although they fall within the perimeters of South Africa. Lesotho is a good example as well. So these countries, basically Swaziland and Lesotho, does exist because of culture. So let's have a look at the next one, which is territorial self-determination. In the context of international law and politics, refers to the right of a people to determine their own political status and freely pursue their own economic, social and cultural development. It is a principle that recognizes a group of people's right to choose their own governance, which can range from autonomy within a state to complete independence. So as you can see, 3 different forms of self-determination. There is quite a big overlap between the 3. You will see that it always refers to the people's having the right to actually make decisions for themselves. So I've said this before in the beginning of the video, that South Africans have partly been doing this for the last 20 years, where we make decisions like sending our kids, if you can afford, to private schooling because of the schooling system being so bad, the Eskom situation. And you find that more and more municipalities are being managed and being fought for by the communities, where community members, Redenburg is quite a good example, where they have taken the responsibility upon themselves to manage the municipal affairs. And the way that happened was that they basically stopped paying rates and taxes. The rates and taxes was diverted into a separate fund, which then the community used the funds then to manage the municipal services themselves. So much more effective. The community then decides what must be done and what must not be done. So I I said earlier on that white people are guaranteed in our lifetime to see some form of self-determination. And the reason why I'm saying this is purely for the fact that as South Africa is falling apart, and we can see it every single day, at this current stage, South Africa is a failing state. The next step will be it's a failed state. So we are not there yet. A failed state means that there is no government. It is absolute chaos. So South Africa is going downhill very, very fast. And as soon as an incident like KZN 2021 happens on a bigger scale, or as soon as government stops paying social grants, or maybe if the grid collapses totally, which is a possibility as well, or unemployment goes to such a rate of 50, 60, 70%, and people really become hungry, then you will see total anarchy. And when anarchy happens, or the country actually falls like Zimbabwe did, people will start, out of necessity, they will start to group together. Birds of a feather flock together. They will group together naturally, because obviously the different cultures, I mean, I wouldn't go group with another culture. I'll rather group with my own people. And white people specifically, already you can see there is a big move towards certain provinces in South Africa. There are two specific provinces, the Northern Cape and the Western Cape, where you have, in the last year alone in the Western Cape, about 400,000 people moving from Gauteng to the Western Cape, because of the fact that down in the Western Cape things are a little bit better. I'm not saying it's a total solution in the Western Cape, but it is a little bit better, as I can see people moving down. And it's the same with the Northern Cape. You can see people moving there in big numbers as well. I think the last numbers I looked at is that last year they had about 50,000 people moving to the Northern Cape, which, if you know the Northern Cape, it is Kalahari, it is partly Karoo, it's extremely dry, it's extremely difficult to farm there, but people tend to move that way because they feel that the options are better there for them. So once South Africa totally collapses, birds of a feather flock together, the same cultures will then congregate, and then you might see a situation or a scenario where you might have enclaves or areas that is basically managed and run by the people themselves. In the cities, what might happen once the South African economy totally collapses is you'll also find that the bad elements, the gang elements, will then also take over certain areas. And you can go have a look at Venezuela and Cuba as an example. When those countries fell, you had certain gangs taking certain areas. And for us as law-abiding citizens, wanting better for our families, we will do exactly the same. It's a natural occurrence that will happen. People will group together for protection in order for them to provide for their families and have a bit of more safety and security. So on the flip side, the other side, the bad people, the gang members, they will do exactly the same. They will group and they will dominate the area. You can see this in the DRC as well, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They also have what they call rebels, or rebels, and they dominate specific areas for specific reasons. So please like, share and subscribe, and God bless.